Good evening and welcome to News at Night. I'm Mike McDonald.
And I'm Colette Linden.
The Chief Medical Advisor at Health Canada says Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine candidate could be approved in Canada next month. Dr. Supriya Sharma says the Health Canada review is most advanced for the vaccine being developed by Pfizer and BioNTech. She says Canada is reviewing it alongside the U.S. and Europe and expects it will be approved here at the same time it is given emergency authorization in the U.S. Canada has a purchase deal to buy at least 20 million doses of Pfizer's vaccine, with the first 4 million of those on track to arrive before the end of March. Sharma says she expects the first shipments of the Pfizer vaccine in January, but it is possible Canada could begin receiving the first doses before the end of the year. A renowned forensic psychiatrist says Alec Manassian was not psychotic before, during, or after he drove a van down a busy Toronto sidewalk, killing 10 people and injuring 16 others. Dr. John Bradford is testifying today that the 28-year-old from Richmond Hill has never shown any symptoms of psychosis. Manassian has pleaded not guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and 16 counts of attempted murder. His lawyers have asked that Manassian be found not criminally responsible for his actions on April 23, 2018, due to autism spectrum disorder.
On the heels of National Housing Day, Habitat for Humanity Sault Ste. Marie and area is announcing one project benefiting one family in our community. The funding is part of $32.4 million partnership between CMHC and Habitat for Humanity Canada and is expected to create up to 414 new homes across Canada. Today, the Honourable Ahmad Hussain, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development and Minister responsible for CMHC, as well as Habitat for Humanity Canada President and CEO Julia Deans, announced that to date, 50 projects featuring 178 affordable housing units have been built or are underway across Canada. This means that 178 families have or will soon realize their dream of home ownership. Toronto police say they have identified a person of interest in the high-profile 2017 homicides of a billionaire philanthropist couple. However, the force says no arrest has been made related to the murders of Barry and Honey Sherman. The founder of generic pharmaceutical company Apotex and his wife were killed inside their Toronto mansion in December of 2017. Autopsy results revealed the couple died by ligature neck compression, and police have said there were no signs of forced entry. The killing shocked the city and made international headlines. The family offered up to $10 million for information that would help solve this case and hired its own team of private investigators.
Daniel Laprade is up next with your local weather right after this.
Hey Mel, did you know that Algoma University has campuses in Brampton and Timmins?
Really? Did you know that if you're at Algoma University, you're only 14 minutes and 16 seconds away from Maitland Fort Lincoln?
Oh wow, closer than you think.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Good evening and welcome back on your Thursday, November 26th. Happy Thanksgiving to our American neighbors. Hope you're enjoying your day today. It's not been too bad of a day. We are seeing those temperatures still being well above the freezing mark, and we're going to see that continue until we get into the work week next week. So whatever snow we do have on the ground will be gone, but it's going to make way for some more snow that we're going to most likely see come in next week, because we're actually watching for a major storm system that's now in the US, and it could be, track its way this way towards the Great Lakes and produce some lake effect. And it could just be a big mess. So we are going to continue to monitor that for you. But on our beautiful radar here, you can see that we do have some cloud cover here in our area right over Sault Ste. Marie. A lot more cloud cover up north towards Wawa and Timmins area and Thunder Bay. However, we don't have much in the way of precipitation expected. Maybe a lingering flurry or rain shower depending on where you are. So there's not a whole lot to report on the radar for right now. But let's get into your details here. So let's look out at the camera, which is brought to you by wirelesscom.ca. There we go. The grass is green again. The roads are clear. Pretty much all the snow has melted that we did get the other night, and that will stay probably green until Tuesday. I'm gonna go with that, and then by the time Monday, Tuesday rolls around, we're gonna see things change. So do get your shovels and snow blowers ready, because it's gonna come at some point. So our expected highs for today, 3 in Thunder Bay as well as in Wawa, 2s in the Sioux and Timmins, 4 in Elliott Lake and Sudbury. And what we're going to look at overnight here is still relatively mild for this time of year. -6 in Thunder Bay, -1 in Wawa, 0s in Timmins, Elliott Lake and Sudbury, and then 2 here in Sault Ste. Marie. What we're going to expect overnight tonight is mainly cloudy, with those winds changing from southwest 20 kilometers an hour to northwest 20 kilometers an hour. And they're going to gust to about 40 overnight. So we will see that low of 2, but it's going to be a little bit chillier with that wind chill, probably around -2 to 3 degrees with the wind chill. And as we get into your Friday, we are looking at mainly cloudy. Those northwest winds will lighten up in the morning, going to get up to 5 degrees. The sun will peek out on Friday a little bit. We are going to get down to 0. There is a 40% chance of a flurry. As I mentioned on the radar, we will see little pockets of flurries throughout the weekend or rain showers. And what we're going to see on Saturday is 4 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, that 40% chance of a flurry in the morning before things warm up. Then we'll drop back down to 1 degree and clear overnight on Saturday. So Saturday night will be a nice night to be out there if you like the nice chilly temperatures with no precipitation going on, but it won't last. We will see a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, 6 degrees as your high. Then as we get into the evening and overnight, we are going to see a 40% chance of rain showers or flurries. That will most likely change to flurries as we get into the overnight with a low of -2, and it's 70% overnight, which sets the stage for your work week. So we got clouds on Monday to start your work week, -1, and this is the temperatures trending downward back to the freezing mark. Tuesday and Wednesday, we are looking at some snow accumulation to about 5 to 10 centimeters at this point. We will continue to track that system that is in the US making its way towards us, because that could bring some high winds as well and some more accumulation. And of course, where we are here, we get lake effect snow as well. So we're looking at 1 degree on Thursday, and overnight lows are going to go back down to below 0, and we'll hover around -2 to 3 degrees. So what we are looking at here is our lovely Lily on our Weather Watcher photo for today. And yes, she's there with the On TV logo. She's become a great little assistant around here. So if you do want to send in your weather photos, it could have your pets in there too. We like them. We like pet photos. Please send them to ontvweather@gmail.com. 2 N's in on, and then make sure you include your name and location, and they will go up on the show as well as on SiouxOnline.com, where everybody will get to see them on our social media as well. And we do have a holiday pick contest going on, which you can still submit your holiday photos if you wish. Go to SiouxOnline.com and you'll have all the details there for you, and you'll find the details of where you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all that fun stuff. I will be back in the morning. Have a great evening, everybody. Mike and Colette will be back right after this break with more local news.
Canadians who say they've been victims of threats and intimidation by Chinese, Iranian, and Russian foreign agents argue domestic police forces are ill-equipped to deal with their concerns. They're calling on the federal government to establish a hotline for their complaints because they say they've been getting the runaround from Canadian law enforcement when they try to report death threats against themselves or intimidation of their loved ones abroad. That's why they're backing a private member's bill by Conservative MP Garnet Janouy that calls on the federal government to take stronger action against foreign interference, including creating a new single point of contact to report it. New provincial data shows COVID-19 hospitalizations in Ontario went up more than 63% over the last 4 weeks. A report released today says the number of patients in intensive care due to the virus is expected to hit 200 next month and stay there for some time, which could lead to the cancellation of surgeries. It also says deaths in long-term care homes are rising, even though the number of cases among staff and residents appears to be flattening. This is the first time new projections have been released since the province sent Toronto and Peel region into lockdown earlier this week. The previous modelling released 2 weeks ago showed Ontario could see as many as 6,500 new daily cases of COVID-19 by mid-December unless steps were taken to limit the spread of the virus.
Ontario has decided to stop changing the clocks twice a year, but only if Quebec and New York State follow suit. A bill introduced by Tory politician Jeremy Roberts passed in the legislature Wednesday. The Attorney General will have discretion to enact the legislation if the other two governments make a similar move. Roberts says he is thrilled and will call on Quebec and New York to end this outdated practice. During debate on this bill, Roberts cited studies indicating negative health effects and productivity loss related to the time changes. Some Canadian jurisdictions have already moved to the end of the changes, including Yukon and parts of Saskatchewan and Nunavut. On the heels of National Housing Day, Habitat for Humanity Sault Ste. Marie and area is announcing one project benefiting one family in our community. The funding is part of $32.4 million partnership between CMHC and Habitat for Humanity Canada and is expected to create up to 414 new homes across Canada. Today, the Honourable Ahmad Hussain, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development and Minister responsible for CMHC, as well as Habitat for Humanity Canada President and CEO Julia Deans, announced that to date, 50 projects featuring 178 affordable housing units have been built or are underway across Canada. This means that 178 families have or will soon realize their dream of home ownership.
A new federal task force will look at the possibility of a low-cost national flood insurance program, as well as options for moving people who live in areas at highest risk from surging spring waters. The Trudeau government says the flood-related effects of climate change are undeniable, causing property destruction and taking an emotional toll on families. As a first step toward a national residential flood insurance program, the task force will look at ways to protect homeowners who are at high risk of flooding and lack adequate insurance. The government says the panel will also examine possibilities for moving residents from areas where the risk of recurrent flooding is greatest. In addition, Indigenous Services Canada will work with First Nations on a steering committee on home flood insurance needs that takes into account the context on reserves. I'm Mike McDonald.
And I'm Colette Linden.
We'll have more news and weather coming up after this.